Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Sarvamangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samsita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Om ओम श्री सजानंद स्वामी महाराज की जय। ओम श्री राधा कृष्णाय नमः। ओम श्री उमा महेश्वर स्वामिने नमः। ओम ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्ति मंत्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं पूजामूलं पूजामूलं गुरोर्पदं मोक्षमूलं गुरोर्कृपा। Okay, welcome to swaminarayanspirituality.com. This is Sachin. With the blessings of all the sages and all of the different incarnations of God, we are continuing a different angle of contemplation today that connects many ideas in Vachanamrutam with Bhagavad Gita, and we will be looking at Lalita Sahasranama and the various verses, the various ideas and the names of Lalita Devi in connection to these other scriptures. So along those lines, the very first verse of Shri Lalita Sahasranam begins with Shri Mata. So this is a very important word because it refers to the auspicious mother. The concept of mother, we know what is the concept of mother in our day-to-day life, right? We are born out of the womb of the mother. All of us are, every species. So similarly, there is the divine feminine. The divine feminine is called Mool Prakriti or Mahamaya. And that is the source of all creation. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the divine feminine or the mother aspect of the divine is acknowledged as the source of all creation. There are multiple chapters in the Gita where Bhagavan Sri Krishna describes the divine power responsible for creation and sustenance, which can be related to the nurturing and creative aspects of the Divine Mother. So when we think of mother, we think of creation as well as nurturing aspects. It is a very, very powerful idea because in many ways, the relationship between child and mother is what is described here in the Lalita Sahasranam, that we are all children of the goddess. Everybody, all Jivatma. So that relationship between mother and child, which we have in our world, the same relationship is described in terms of the cosmic connections, in terms of the cosmic evolution. So Mool Prakriti, in terms of the Gita also, is in one sense the power of Parabrahma. But in another sense, it depends on how we see this, that Mool Prakriti is the primordial, infinite Shakti, the energy. And all of the abodes of God are underneath that power, underneath that energy. So that's another way to see this. Now, the notion of the divine feminine, what does that mean? How does that relate to where we are? So we are within the womb and the realm and the expression of Prakriti. Given that we're within the realm and the expression of Prakriti, we are experiencing through the senses, through the body, diverse phenomena, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, with so many different species, so many different bodies coming and going. This is all happening underneath the power of Mahamaya. So that power of Mahamaya is also described as where that there's actually, it's not just an abstract power, but it is a form actually. There's a form that is the form of the goddess. The goddess is a being with form. So the being that is with form is called Parameshwari. And that is Mool Prakriti. Mool Prakriti has a form and then its power is infinite. So this notion that the Mool Prakriti is the supreme ruler, the supreme being, you see, this notion is in the Shakti Sampradayas particularly, and in Lalita Sahasranama, the second name of goddess Lalita is Shri Maharagni. Maharagni means what? This term signifies supreme ruling power. The topmost final boss, you can put it this way. Supreme ruling power. In the Gita, the supreme being is described as one who governs and presides over all realms of existence. So it should be interesting to note that in the Bhagavad Gita, it doesn't say Shri Krishna Uvacha. It says Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. And Shri is first there. So that it can be interpreted that who is speaking is the goddess actually. In form of Krishna, through Vedvyasji, through others, in that way. We can interpret it that way, potentially. Right, so Shri Maharagni is the great queen. Ragni means queen. So the supreme ruling power, what is she ruling over? She is ruling over all of existence. She is ruling over every Jivatma and its activity, is giving each Jivatma power to do its activity. This is where words like Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti, which come later in Lalita Sahasranama, they are very relevant. Now, having said this much in the first two names so far, let's see if we can connect this with what the Vachanamrutam says and how it connects there. Which is, I don't think there's anybody that's ever really tried to do that as far as I know. I've never heard anybody try to do that. Or even heard, any sages even try to do that. So first time we're going to attempt this and see where that leads us. So as far as the Tattva Gnyan of Shriji Maharaj, he accepts Ramanujacharya's perspective and has expanded upon that. Now this requires a little bit of understanding. In Lalita Sahasranama, there is only one supreme deity, that is Lalita Devi. There's nothing beyond Lalita Devi. There's nothing beyond the Shri Maharagni, Shri Mata. Shri saying this right? Simha, how am I saying this right? Shri Srimat Simhasaneshwari. That's the third word. So she's sitting on the lion throne, right? Meaning that the supreme power, that's what it represents. So how does this compare with the other acharyas and what they have stated? How would it intersect with that? So again, this is the divine feminine. In the tattvic perspective of Vachanamrut, what we would have to say is that Mool Prakriti is of course infinite. I don't think there's any qualms about that. I think Maharaj would definitely say that the power is infinite of Mool Prakriti. What he would say is that, and what he has stated about Mahamaya in Vachanamrut, is that there are Panchbhed. Panchbhed is Jeev, Ishwar, Mahamaya, Akshara Brahma and Parabrahma. This is called Panchbhed. So in Panchbhed, the question of where Mahamaya came from is answered this way, that it is beginningless. So that point that it is Anadi, that even Shriji Maharaj has mentioned again and again, it intersects directly with these two initial names, that she is the Maharagni, the supreme controller, from the point of view that the Mahamaya is beginningless. That power is also beginningless. Her existence is beginningless. It is nobody can say that the Mahamaya came into existence at some point. You cannot say. So this is Vachanamrut actually. In Vachanamrut, there is no point where the Mahamaya was actually created or somehow evolved out of the Parabrahman or something like that. That's not the case. It exists. The reality of Mahamaya exists with and in a beginningless state with the other four Bhedas, the Parabrahma, Akshara Brahma, Ishvara, and Jiva. Now, this is still a bit esoteric, simply because if there is only Mahamaya, then what about Akshara Brahma? What about Parabrahma, as Maharaj is saying? Why is he saying that if there is only Mahamaya? This is a matter of perspective. It's a matter of realization. From the point of view of everything that is in creation, everything that is dynamically experienced, it is all an expression of Mahamaya. That much nobody can argue. Now, in Vachanamrut is also very clear that under Mahamaya there is Pradhan Purush. Under Pradhan Purush, from Pradhan Purush comes Mahat Tattva. From Mahat Tattva comes Virat Narayan, the different forms of Vishnu. And then everything else is evolved out of that. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv come out of the Virat Narayan. So again, those are all Ishvaras. This same idea is there in the Lalita Sahasranama, that Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, and all the Ishvaras, they are at the feet of the goddess. They are worshipping the goddess also. Their power comes from the goddess. This is in the Lalita Sahasranama. In Vachanamrut, is that point accepted? Yes, absolutely. That under Mahamaya, under Mahamaya, Pradhan Purush and all the other entities, the Ishvaras, are all having some power of Mahamaya. Now the question still becomes the question about the connection between Mahamaya and what is called Brahman, right? So to understand this connection, we have to see what Vedanta and Upanishad say about this. Vedanta and Upanishad say that there is one unchanging, infinite existence that is what we would call consciousness, or what the rishis would say is, they use the word Brahman, they use the word Mul Purush, they use the word Purusha, and then they use the word Prakriti to explain the dynamism, the dynamic changing aspects of reality. So, what is the relationship between the two? Well, you could say it's like the relationship between the wave and the ocean, waves and the ocean. It is just the ocean in a dynamic form, in a modulation form, and that is Mul Prakriti, Mahamaya. We could say that. Now somebody will say, well, why does that even exist? Why all this creation is even there? What is the purpose of this creation? Why should it even? Why there is not only the Brahman, right? Or if there is only Shakti, then just this undifferentiated Shakti. So the point here is that the answer to this question is actually there in the fourth word, Chidagnikunda Sambhuta. So what is this? Born from the Chit and the fire pit. Meaning which Chidagni is what? That the consciousness that is the Brahman, this word Agni is used to refer to the fire of the consciousness. Now why the word Agni is used? Because so we can understand it because we see fire here. But that's not that kind of fire there. So this word Chidagni, it is referring to. Now this is very, very fascinating. This is referring to, from Vachanamrut point of view, that the Jivatmas are infinite in number within Mahamaya. So they need to be expressed out of that. So the Brahman is actually always with the Mahamaya. It's the Mahamaya and the Jivatma are within the realm, within the Brahman, but they're just lying dormant there. So this word Chidagni means that it is this creative fire, the creative potency of the Brahman. So this can be explained in terms of the creation. This is one way to understand this. Chidagni Kunda Sambhuta. Chidagni Kund means the fire pit. You see? So the point is that when this creation is sparked off, that is a way for the Jivatma to come out of the clutches of Mahamaya. But she's the ruler. So everything that goes underneath there, every activity is underneath the control of Mahamaya. So this is now based on Vachanamrut. The purpose of the creation is to release the Jivatma, infinite Jivatma, from the clutches of Mahamaya. Right? Now what is the purpose of the Lalita Sahasranama? It is to adore the power of Mahamaya. And if we go into it carefully, sequentially, very, very carefully, you'll find that the glory and the brilliance of this Chidagni is described throughout the Lalita Sahasranama. But at the same time, what is described is the evolution of the Jivatma into that brilliance. So into that activating spark, activating power of Brahman that activated Mool Prakriti into expressing itself. That activation power is with us all the time. There are so many references to this in Vachanamrut. But one of them is that God has automatically has activated the process of the sansar as a mechanism. Bhagwane Kal chadaveli che. Kal means that it is a natural mechanistic way that these attachments develop, the various kinds of gunas develop, the three gunas of Maya develop. This happens automatically through that spark, the intention of the Brahman. Or we can say Parabrahma. I won't go into the Brahma Parabrahma distinction here. But the intention is to evolve the Jivatma out of Prakriti into what is called Atyantika Pralay. In Atyantika Pralay, every influence of Mahamaya gets merged into Akshara Brahma. And this is the entire Vivek Chudamani is about this. All the Brahma Sutras are about this. The 555 Brahma Sutras, the whole Bhagavad Gita is about this. And the Upanishads are about this. Upanishad, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, the commentaries of the Acharyas, they are all about, including Vachanamrut, it is all about the Jivatma being released from the clutches of Mahamaya so that the cycle of birth and death and everything else, it stops permanently and there is ultimate realization. But the path that is shown in the Devi Upasana is to directly worship that Chidagni, that Agni itself. That is why we do the Havan and everything else that is done. The purpose behind that is there are many ways of directly touching that root power. Now, this is a very different point. If we are worshipping God using this power, that is one way to try to come out of the Maya. But if we are worshipping the power of Maya itself, what will that do for us? It will bring us to the glorification of Mahamaya, which is exactly what Lalita Sahasranama is. It is a glorification of that intense Chidagni. See, so Shrimat Simhasaneshwari, that is the goddess on the lion throne. This it is an analogy. From our point of view, it's an analogy. There's a transcendental realm in this also. Many transcendental realms. Meaning what? That she reigns supreme. Once the Chidagni is activated, Chidagni Kunda Sambhuta, that the consciousness fire, which is linked to self-realization and enlightenment, as discussed in the Gita, yes. Of course it is linked to that, because that is in Vachanamrut Garada Madhya 8, Gnan Yagna Yog Yagna. In Vachanamrut Garada Pratham 34, that this word kal is used. Bhagwan ne kal chada. In other Vachanamruts where it is described that Bhagwan has created it, through the Sankalpa Shakti, infinite universes, and the Parabrahma Tattva actually enters into the Virat Narayan and into the heart of every being, and from that this Chidagni can express itself. This is the Tattva Gnan in Vachanamrut. You see, so Vachanamrut mein kya hai? That, like for example, Sachin is speaking right now, but this activity that is speaking, that is Shakti, that is used, that is energy. Yes, the goddess power is, it is that original power that is still present inside of this person. But the Atma Tattva that is there, the Atma Tattva with the Sakshi within the Atma Tattva is Parabrahma, is the essence of the Atma. And that Sakshi is, okay, how can I explain this? That Sakshi is witnessing all of the actions taken by the Jivatma, and those actions are those actions are possible because of the Shakti that is given to each Jivatma by Mahashakti, by the Shri Lalita Devi, meaning what certain power is given to the Jivatma, so it can express and the Prakriti can express itself. It is an expression of Prakriti from the dormancy state. So when the Jivatmas are in the dormant state under Mahamaya, there is no experience of any kind. The Jivatma is not experiencing the Akshardham. The Akshardham meaning that which is the Akshara Brahma, the absolute. That which is the Brahma Tattva, it is not experiencing. The Jivatma is also not experiencing itself as the Satchidananda, which is what it is. So it is also not experiencing any energy. It is lying completely in a dormant state in Mood Prakriti. So Mood Prakriti has to open its power. But that opening of so the power that is inside Mood Prakriti and the Swarup of Mood Prakriti, as per Vachanamrut specifically, in Vachanamrut, the way that this is described is that the Mool Prakriti is Anadi, it is beginningless, it has infinite power, but that infinite power is just one Sankalp Shakti of Bhagwan Purushottam Narayan, of the Aksharatit Paramatma. Now this idea is in Vachanamrut, this idea is in the Gita also, right? But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that when the incarnations of God come here, when Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Ram, the 24 incarnations, great sages, once they come here, they are under Prakriti, but they are not bound by Prakriti. That is the difference. So what actually happens here is that whatever they come in contact with in the realm of Prakriti, it becomes Parabrahma Roop. So I'll give you an example. There's a lot of history behind this. Like for example, people are searching for the original cross. Well, why is that? What's the big deal about that wooden piece? Because it was touched by God. So now it is not part of Maya anymore. Even though it is part of the Prakriti, it's not. Isko kya kehte in Swaminarayan Satsang, isko prasadi ki vastu kehte. Prasadi means what? It is touched by the divine. You see, so even the word prasad, we use the word prasad. This is the same word. So the substances in Prakriti, the evolutes of Prakriti, even though they are evolutes, like for example, there's a tomato sitting on the counter here. Okay, we see it's a tomato. But once, if you hold the tomato and you do the mantras and bhajan, bhakti and everything, it becomes prasadam. Now, when we eat that substance itself is Chidagni. It's that it is no longer within the bound state of the three gunas of Maya. So the substances, they become divine. The body becomes divine. So this is by the contact of the great sages, incarnations, and the incarnations of the Shakti herself. So this is another point, that the Mahashakti, Mool Prakriti, Mool Shakti, she incarnates in different times and different. There's a lot of history of incarnations of the goddess. I mean, there's of course Mahavidyas in the nine, no Durga. Those are all incarnations also, right? But there's actually human incarnations of the goddess. So that's one thing to understand. The other thing to understand in this is that every human being, every living being, is also, from the Shakti point of view, it is nothing but another form of Shakti. Now this is more along the lines of Shaiva Tantra. It's more along those lines of the Shakta Upasana. Shakti Upasana, the Upasana means, see, when we say Shakti Upasana, it means we are worshipping that Mool Maya. We are not, see, it's like this. We're using Shakti to worship Shakti. Right? This is a little bit, it's not really different, but in some sense it is. We can use Shakti to worship the incarnations. There's a little bit of a difference between the two. Okay. Actually, there's no difference in the bigger sense, but in another sense, there is a difference. So let me see if I can tease that out a bit. Boy, I'll tell you, we started this subject. This is a very...
So how you say
it's different because, okay, so take, for example, one is worshipping Ramchandraji. Let's take a very simple example. Let's say Sachin here wants to do Upasana of Bhagwan Ram. Okay? Okay, so how is it different from worshipping Shakti? Because we are worshipping an avatar that has come here, manifested here, the Leela Charitra, the actual incidences that have happened, the mantras connected with the avatar, the scriptures connected with the avatar, and those avatars have their location under Prakriti at different points within Prakriti. So, for example, if I worship Ramchandraji with complete 100% upasana, using the energies that are available inside the mind, the body, and become an ekantik bhakta of Bhagwan Ram, become a pure devotee of Bhagwan Ram, what is it that I'm doing? I'm using my mental power, my intellectual power, like Tulsidas Ji, for example. So what happens there? Where does that person go? Where does that Jivatma, what is the liberation of that person? The difference is this, that the liberation is within the abode of the avatar. You see? So that liberation, yes, we have used Shakti or as a support, which is possible. It is possible to pray to Devi as a support to reach Ram. That's why we have Sita and Ram. You know, that's why, like Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai. It is by the blessings of Sita ji you reach Ram. It is by the blessings of Radhika ji you reach Krishna. So that is the abode of that incarnation. But if you're worshipping Shakti, using Shakti, then you bypass all of these abodes and you wind up in Mool Prakriti. Now this is where this connects with Vachanamrut. Abhi Vachanamrut mein kya hai? Now there's two things. If you connect with Mool Prakriti and worshipping only that, you will eventually you will not be there. There will only be that Mahashakti only. You just are lost inside there. It's like Advait Vedanta. You know, you'll not be able to find yourself separately in any which way. ठीक है ना? It's like, you know what it's like? It's like if you have a fireplace, and you know how you have these sparks of fire that you can see sometimes, right? As the wood is burning. So it's all fire, but there are sparks. So that spark is the Atma Tattva. And so that Atma Tattva is Satchidananda Brahma. But when it worships Mahashakti, it is absorbed inside Mahashakti as Mahashakti. It is not inside a state of Swami Sevak Bhav. This is my understanding. Now I have to, you know. So now, how is that different from Advait Vedanta? It's a little bit different. In what sense? That the Shakti is absorbing the Jivatma as Shakti, as opposed to the Brahman. That is. How can I? It's very hard to explain this. See, the Jivatma is Satchit Ananda. The Brahman is Satchit Ananda. But when the jivatma is absorbed in the Brahman, then there is only the Brahman only. This is what Advaita Vedanta says, right? Okay. Then what happens to the Shakti there? So that power that the Jivatma was under is not expressed. One is released from that. It's a release from the womb of Mahamaya. This is what Shankaracharya ji has also stated. If you go through Vivek Chudamani, his whole goal in Vivek Chudamani is that you are released from Mahamaya. Right? Now, but those who are worshipping Maya are not released from Mahamaya, they actually become Mahamaya. Meaning what? They themselves are not separate anymore. So, okay, lots of examples. When you have people doing Shakti Upasana, you will see that they can get so lost inside that the goddess takes over. She speaks that I am here. And this happens quite often in the Navratri time. And so in Gujarati they say Mataji Angma Avya, that the Devi has come. She herself takes over. And if the devotee is at such a stage that she uses the devotee's body, mind, senses, everything to do the work that supports all of the work of the incarnations, because they're all together. They're not anything separate from each other in the real sense. But at the same time, the experiences of Mahamaya are such that they are of every kind. So Satvik, Rajsik, Tamsik, it's a Nirgun, it has all the different abodes of God. There's nothing outside Mool Prakriti as far as experience is concerned. So if one is a pure Bhakta, what the Devi will do is that she will absorb the Bhakta inside herself. And then if the Upasana continues further, because she's enlivened by that Chidagni. So word Chid means consciousness. So that Chidagni itself and the consciousness are non-dual. And this is the point of non-dual Shaiva Tantra at that point. At that metaphysical point. You see this? That is the so that's the metaphysical connection of exactly what happens for a Param Bhakta of Devi. Okay, now what is interesting here is that it depends what we are asking from Devi. See, again, if we look at the second word here, and that is third word, Shrimat Simhasaneshwar, and second word Shri Maharagni. Meaning what? If the Bhakta is asking for a particular type of experience, whatever the Bhakta is asking for, he will definitely get that. Sooner or later, one way or another. But interestingly, what the Bhakta gets is based on the clarity and intensity of the Ichha. So, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti Swarupini. Isn't it so? So, what is Ichha Shakti? Ichha Shakti means I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. So for example, we are here right now. So I must, in my mind, there must have been at some point Ichha to go to the mountains, to love the mountains, to go into nature. So then the situation is created so that experience comes to the Jivatma. In fact, every experience of life, every experience of Prakriti is of this type, based on Ichha Shakti. So again, the word Shakti is there. Whose Ichha is it there? Your Ichha. Because you want the experiences that are available through the senses, through the mind, through the families, or the experiences available to the Ishvaras, to the Devatas. See, that's why it's later on here. See, Deva Karya Samuddhata. This is the fifth word. This phrase indicates the performance of divine duties. No, that's correct. But it also has to do with the fact that the realm of the Ishvaras, they are performing their activities. They're enlivened to perform their activity to propagate and sustain the samsara. So for example, let's look at this from where we are. We have political leaders, people in positions of power. Isn't it so? Positions of great influence over countless, over millions of people. What is that? That is that is a small example of this word here, deva karya samudyata, meaning what, that certain position is given, potency is given for Aishwarya, to become a ruler, to become a king, to become this, to become that. These are all experiences provided by Mool Prakriti for the Jivatma. Now there is a bigger ontological reason behind this. And I have to watch myself to go slowly because I can see this, but I cannot say it in a short amount of time. So it is very profound and is very tricky to even explain. The ontological reason behind this is for the Jivatma to ultimately come to the realization of the futility of trying to expand the experiences of Prakriti. That is why Prakriti gives the experience.
Say it again.
See, I told you this is a tricky. Let's see if I can say it again. Let's think about it this way. That every Jivatma is given a certain body. Even which body the Jivatma gets is based on the beginningless causal body. Because it is within the Mahamaya, the causal body and the Jivatma are within Mahamaya from beginningless time. This is per Vachanamrut and per Vishishtadvaita. Even Shankaracharya ji has said this in Vivek Chudamani, that the Maya is beginningless. He said that it is mysteriously forged. He has not given an explanation of where it came from. You see? But yes, is there a way out of it? Yes. That all the acharyas have shown that. But the point is that the experiences we have, all of them, as great and as extraordinary as they are, including the experiences for the Ishvaras, they are all given so that the Ishvaras and the Jivatma realize the futility of going in the cyclical and repetitive and expand and attempt to expand those experiences. The realization of that utter futility is where the Mahamaya is ready to release the Jivatma from her clutches. But not until then. As long as Sachin thinks, I'm going to I have so much work to do here. I have this desire, I have that desire, even though they may be the highest sattvic desires, best desires, whatever it might be. As long as those things are present, you see, Mahamaya will say, you have the desire, I'm going to give you the chance to fulfill that. You see, now why does she do that? Because the Jivatma needs to freely come to that realization that yes, we can perform our activity, but as long as I am trying to experience something, I am within the realm of Mahamaya. The moment the Jivatma is performing action with Nirgun Bhav, which is called Gunatit Bhav, beyond the gunas of Maya, at that in that situation, Shriji Maharaj said to Muktanand Swami, Mahamaya becomes completely in alignment with your path out of Mahamaya. That is the answer in Vachanamrut. Maharaj kehte the Mahamaya doesn't bind you. It is the Mahamaya is going to assist you all the way in the release. So okay. Right?
Yes.
Does it make sense at all?
Yes, fully. Definitely. That's what I meant.
Okay, good. Very good. Excellent. So, again.
Because,
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Because Mahamaya itself is a part of Shakti.
Yes, it is
Right.
Shakti. It is
So
only
why
Shakti
would-
meaning energy.
Right. Meaning the whole, the world and, whatever the creation and everything.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like that, because without Shakti, the world cannot exist.
It won't exist at all. Nothing
Right?
will exist.
So it's a part of it. The fact of the matter is, because you don't know who you are as a soul,
Yes.
you get entangled in it.
Yes.
And you keep going,
yes.
whirling
Yeah,
in it.
yes,
But it's
yes.
not that Mama is bad or anything.
No,
like that.
nothing at all.
That's why, that's the illusion, right? That is the
Yes.
myth, anyway.
Yes.
And that is the problem.
No, but see, again, this is, whatever Sachin here is said here, this is still just on the surface. There's a tremendous depth in this. See, When the Jivatma gets a human body, this is where the Vivek Chudamani begins. Vivek Chudamani begins at this point that the Jivatma gets a human body. Durlabham trayame veta deva nugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. Right? So what is rare? That the human body itself is rare. Now there's a lot of metaphysics here about the 8.4 million species, all the different devatas, the Triloka, all the different avatars. In Vedras, all of this is described in detail. It's very, very detailed. We would need to sit for 10, 15 hours to understand this. It's very intensely profound. I mean, the technical know-how. This is just a very beginning overview of this, right? But the actual nuts and bolts of how this happens is mind-blowingly complex. It's beyond anything in the universities also.
Exactly, because the mind can only handle that much.
Yeah, but the scriptures do describe it. There is a description there.
Because they've gone out of that realm.
Yes, exactly. And actually, if you look at the names of Lalita Devi, these are all transcendental names. You know, so they're all, but they're described in a way that we can get some concept of what it is, but it is still transcendental.
Unless you experience it, you wouldn't know.
No.
But you can appreciate.
Yes, you can appreciate. And actually, this is where the in-depth exploration in the Shastras is necessary for sadhaks so that their sadhana becomes even more clear. That's why. So, so the sadhana we're doing, it clarifies inside. This is called Gnan Shakti. See, Gnan Shakti is where it is a profound clarity about this tattvic realization, how the tattvas evolve. Mm-hmm. So that is called Gnan Shakti. So, okay, do you want me to continue? I mean, I don't know if this is getting too much or too crazy at this point. All right.
If you are not tired.
No, it's okay. I'm just, because I have so much that's in my mind right now, but I don't know how to put it all actually,
Whatever it comes.
See, the thing about this, it's all together at one time, and I have to try to pull it apart in using language. Okay, so let's think of it this way now. Now there's several questions that certainly come about, right? One basic question is where did the Jivatma come from? The Jivatma, as per Vachanamrut, is that it is eternally existing as an uncreated divine spark that is inside of Maya. It is not created by Parabrahman or Maya or anybody. It is eternally existing. This is the perspective. That how many Jivatma are there? Infinite.
Right.
So they're infinite in number. They are anadi, uncreated. Their substance is the same as the Brahman. The tattva, from a tattva point of view, like a drop is the same as the substance as the ocean. It's the same thing, right? So Mahamaya, it's a mystery as to the existence of Mahamaya. The mystery is that we have experiences of life that give us an indication of the origin of this expansive diversity. But at the same time, when we are out of the clutches of Mahamaya, there's nothing like Mahamaya anymore. Mm-hmm. So what is there? There is the Brahman only. Now this is in Vachanamrut mein ये point लिखा है चेतना जी. इसमें क्या लिखा है? श्री जी महाराज क्या कहते हैं? महाराज क्या कहते हैं इसमें? That when you awaken into the Atma, that awakening is there. That is this tremendous realization that the Shaktis are all folded back into the Atma Tattva. When that awakening occurs, the anubhav is that I was never in Mahamaya. So it is this transition from our strong belief that we are inside Mahamaya into the transition out of Mahamaya. Now, this is no small thing. Okay, the reason behind it is because if you are worshipping Devi, what she's going to do is something quite remarkable, which is it's a little bit different from some of the other upasanas. She's going to take you through the scenic route. Okay? This is the difference. the destination is the Brahman, no doubt. But because you are worshipping Mahashakti, Mool Prakriti, she is going to say, you are worshipping me, I'm going to show you my manifestation. Do you see this point? And this is what happens in the Devi Upasana. So she's going to show the Bhakta all glories of Mahamaya. She's going to show us, like for example, if we are going into, we want to get to the top of these Smoky Mountains or whichever top, you can just take a helicopter and just land there. Let's say you're a VIP and you can like for example in Smoky Mountains, you start at Gatlinburg and you can climb all the way up and you go to the chimneys and then you go to the Newfound Gap and lots of lookouts are there. What is that? That's the scenic route. You can enjoy the scenic route and then you get to the top. But at the same time, if a person says Aham Brahmasmi, you start with the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. Start with the Vaishnava Acharyas, bhakti, डूब जाओ भक्ति में, भगवान की भक्ति में और ब्रह्म ज्ञान में. So you're going to bypass the scenic route and not go through all the scenery as such and be completely absorbed inside Brahma Parabrahma. So then what happens to Mahamaya? Mahamaya says if you are absorbed in that, then she just releases you. There's no issue of taking the scenic route. It's like this. If Sachin is sitting in a helicopter, a VIP awesome helicopter, and that helicopter takes off from Gatlinburg and flies straight up and lands on Klingman's Dome, right? Yeah, I mean, am I seeing some of the intermediate things? But I'm seeing it so quickly, so rapidly, that within just few minutes, all that is bypassed and you are straight. This point is in Vachanamrut Garada Pratham 21 as Archi Mark. See, this is the connection. Aapki krupa hai that I have opportunity to even think about this. That's amazing. That's exactly what it is. That is Archi Marg. Archi Marg is where it is a path where this Sushmana Nadi opens, and from this Brahmarandra, it is the path of light. So depending on the Upasana, if you are absorbed in Brahma Vidya, then quickly, it's like the abodes of God, the different Ishvaras, they flash in front of you and you go straight into the Brahman. This is called Archi Marg. I'll show it to you in Vachanamrut. Vachanamrut this point is written there. Amazing thing is there. So there's a scenic route. Now, here's the interesting part. To understand this better, let's take the Navaran mantra. Because Devi Upasana is based on mantras. All mantra sadhana is Devi Upasana. In actually, even the worship of the incarnations of God, Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Krishna, or any incarnation, the worship of the incarnations of God through the mantra is actually Devi Upasana. Because all of those mantras have certain amount of Shakti. For example, Namah Shivaya mantra. When we say Namah Shivaya mantra, whatever energy is inside the mantra is a certain amount of energy placed in that mantra by Devi. Yeah. Right? So all mantra, the Shakti inside the mantra, हम जो कहते हैं कि मंत्रों में शक्ति है, isn't it so? तो वो मूल प्रकृति की ही शक्ति है इसमें. But those mantras take you to the destination that they are meant for. So for example, if I am going to I'm going to use the Smoky Mountain analogy, easy to understand. If I'm going to start at Gatlinburg and the taxi driver says, I'm going to take you to Newfound Gap, but I cannot go further beyond that. I'm going to take you to that, and from Newfound Gap, you can see all of this massive mountain range. But that's it. You pay the $50 to me, I'll take you there, and I'll bring you back if you want. Or I'll drop you off there. ठीक है? Each mantra is like this. It takes you to a certain destination underneath the Brahman. You see? This is the point. But this Upanishadic Mahavakyas, they don't take you to any destination underneath the Brahman. They take you to the Brahman itself. That's what Vivek Chudamani is all about. That's what the Brahma Sutras are about. Athato Brahma Jignasa, and the whole process in the 555 Sutras is about that. So they do not take you to the destinations under Prakriti. But here's the interesting part. If a bhakta is there and is worshipping Devi, but the ichha hai isme, hriday mein ichha hai. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say Sachin says, there is a desire to become a very, very, very super wealthy and very influential person in this world. Just as I don't have that, thank God. But just I'm giving as an example. If there is such an ichha and it's deeply hidden inside, you know what will happen? If a person does the Shakti Upasana, Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche, and regularly does this Upasana, हमारी जो इच्छा है ना, whether it is in this life or a subsequent lifetime, that ichha is going to be fulfilled. Right. Now, how is that fulfilled and why is it fulfilled? Oh, you want me to bring that? No, that's fine. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So this is another interesting point here. So here. So first of all, the 3 Bij mantras, Aim, Reem, Klim, these Bij mantras are, oh, you want to put it back up there? Okay. These 3 Bij mantras are the Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. Right. And it is only by their grace that these extraordinary experiences can happen. Like somebody might even say, I want to be a massively scholarly person and write commentaries and do this and do that and I don't know, become like a Nobel Prize winner in physics or something like that, let's say. Right? Well, if that's the case, the Aim Bij mantra, the Aim Reem Klim Chamundai, which is Durga Saptashati, etc., it will allow the individual to experience that. So what it does, how does that mechanism work? Let's talk about that for a moment. The mechanism. That's important. The mechanism is the sadhak is performing the sadhana, is performing the mantra sadhana with the mantras or through Guru Agnya, through Havan, however it's done. You know, like the Shri Vidya sadhana is there, the Durga Saptashati sadhana, so many different sadhanas that are there. Lalita Sahasranama, extensive sadhana, is tremendously powerful. How does the mechanism work? It works based on the clarity of the clarity of what you want inside your mind, that is the ichha, and when you speak the mantra and you're praying to Devi, what she does is that the avastha that we're going through, the Jagrat avastha, Swapna avastha, Shushupti avastha, actually what happens, the Jivatma is given a change of experience within the avasthas. So within the 3 states, the Jivatma is given the experience that it needs to have, it wants to have. And why is it given that? So it is given the opportunity to fulfill the desire, and once the desire is fulfilled, the Jivatma can continue the can continue the adhyatmic path forward. Many times what happens in Devi Upasana, you have sankalpas of different kinds. They're fulfilled. And then what? And then when a person is just, you can enjoy the fruit. You get a fruit. So there's 2 things that happen inside the Devi Upasana. When you do the Devi Upasana, a fruit is generated, phalam. That is generated based on your ichha. Based on, and she knows, karma karmadi sakshinni namaha. In the Lalita Trishati, there's a name like this. She's the sakshi, the witness of all of the karmas. So the karma phal that is given by the Parabrahman through the Shakti, that phal is actually the fruit of your sadhana. And then it's up to you to enjoy the fruit. Now, you know what happens in life. We get what we want and we jump to something else immediately. We don't even take time to enjoy that fruit or enjoy the blessings that are there. And so that's a mistake made by the sadhak at that point. They're just jumping from that is a ignorance. So when a person keeps jumping like this, even after the fruit is obtained and doesn't find satisfaction in the fruit, then that is a sign of lack of realization of what the Shakti is trying to teach you and give you. So this is where people run after Lakshmi ji, but they ignore Saraswati. Right? So that's the connection. That the fruit is generated, and the life that we have now, the obstructions, the problems, the obstacles, these things are removed. One is protected from diseases, dangers, negative energies, things like that. That is the kavacham, the Durga kavacham and all that. The purpose is that. You see, ठीक है ना? So that protection is given so that we can live in the Prakriti, but then from that, eventually keep the journey alive towards the highest of realizations. And that's kind of that encapsulates as an introduction the linkages between Devi Upasana in general, the first 2 or 3 names of Lalita Devi, and we'll go into it further. I need to do some more research on that to really in depth open their meanings. And then how this connects with the Tattva Gyan in Vachanamrut plus Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Ji plus Ramanujacharya Ji, different acharyas, how they have explained based on their realization. But these are the interconnections with regards to Mahamaya, Mool Prakriti, Mantra Sadhana, and also the liberated state. What kind of liberation is obtained when we leave this body. So there's a lot more to be said about this, but this is kind of
This is awesome.
an introduction on this, and then we'll just take a little break here for now, right?